So to get us started, I think we have to go back to 1948, and that's really the dawn of the modern international human rights movement, the regime. And so every semester when I teach an intro to human rights class, and I have all my students in there that probably don't really know anything about human rights yet, I tell them, write me a list. Okay, sit down, take 5 minutes, and write a list of the things that you would need, the essential things you would need to live a decent life. I'm not talking about the life of a rock star or a billionaire or anything like that. Just what do you need to be generally happy, right? So they sit down and they take their 5 minutes, and then we put everything up on the board. And what we tend to see, we see things like, a place to live, food, water, health care, basic education, the ability to maybe go to church, right? The ability to have a family and be loved and have friends and those kinds of things. And usually, when we figure out all the things that we have up on this board, when we compare them to the 1948 UN Universal Declaration of Human Rights, we see a lot of connections. Okay, not always. This semester, somebody wrote Batmobile down on their essential list of human rights. That's not in the UDHR. There's no Batmobile in there. But most of these things are. Okay, and so basically when I'm talking about the UDHR, I am talking about the Foundation of Human Rights. It's a document that was adopted by the UN when the UN was still brand new, okay? So this was after World War II, it was after the Holocaust, and everybody's taken these history classes. We know that during the Holocaust, Nazi Germany killed 6 million civilians, mostly, but not always, just Jews. And if we incorporate also Stalin's Russia at this time, we're talking about 14 million civilians who were just completely mowed down by these repressive governments. And so after all of this happened, the international community came together and they realized that they were facing a huge problem. And the problem was that 14 million people had been killed and no laws had been broken, right? If Nazi Germany wanted to kill Jews, they're the government. They change the laws, they say it's okay, and they're not violating anything. They set the rules, and the rules said this is okay, right? And so the international community got together and said, we really need something in place, at least of some sort of framework, to say, no, governments can't do whatever they want to whoever they want. We have to have something that holds them accountable, and that's what human rights are. Okay, and so in 1948, the UN adopted this, and so if you're a member of the United Nations, and pretty much every country, most countries in the world are, that's saying that at least at a fundamental level, governments are acknowledging that they have this responsibility and that they think human rights are something that they should be upholding. All right, so this was the first time at a universal kind of international level this had been expressed, but that doesn't mean that's the first time people were talking about human rights.